day. I'm so excited to have you on because these are the type of questions that only you can answer. And there are many, there are many. A lot of parents, school is out now. Millions of children across the nation are just home with mom and dad, and they're not used to being home with mom and dad 24/7. So parents are now forced to be teachers, which some are used to it and some are just like, what do I do from here?
Right.
So there's a lot of freak out going on. So I wanted to see if we can ease just a little bit of that tension from mom and dad, whatever that looks like. We may not have all the answers necessarily, but at least we can start the conversation, probably give them just a little bit of ease and some information. So before we even go anywhere, let me introduce my fabulous duo. Can't talk. So, thank you, Mrs. Waseem, for being here. And you, well, I know you because you used to be my son's teacher.
Favorite teacher.
Yes, yes. Favorite teacher. You've done a fabulous job. Let me tell you, you're a good teacher when to this day, your grown up college student can say, that was my favorite teacher. That makes a big difference, right? And I think that's what all teachers should aim for. But yeah, you were his favorite. You can't tell him anything. So let me go ahead and let everyone know who's on with me. So I have Mrs. Jalila Waseem, Orange County school teacher for 22 years, currently a computer teacher for 6th and 7th grade at Ocoee Middle School in Orlando, Florida. Bachelor's and master's in business education, also faculty advisory committee for PTA and SAC, Boys and Girls Club, and the Cultural Awareness Committee. Also, teacher's mentor for the teachers that are coming in new to the school. Thank you, Mrs. Waseem, for being with us. And next, we have the fabulous Miss Brittany Daniels. Mrs. Daniels, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
I think you have a whole lot of answers from what I was. Thank you for being here. So, Mrs. Daniels owns a Bachelor in Elementary Education and Leadership from the University of South Florida. Started out with 1st grade and has actually taught 2nd, 3rd, and 5th grade over 17 years. Yes. Multi-tier support coach, district Title I parent, and family engagement coordinator for 69 schools. Oh my gosh. Thank you, ladies. Did I leave anything out? Did I get that? Did I nail that?
You got that. You got it. Yes.
I got it. All right.
Yes.
So do you want to start, Mrs. Daniels? Kind of tell us what a coordinator does for 69 schools like that.
Awesome. So as a parent and family engagement coordinator, and there is one for every district here in the state of Florida, we are in charge of coordinating parent and family engagement activities at all of our Title I schools. Okay. So here in Pinellas, we happen to have about 69 schools currently. And when we get ready to go into the 2021 school year, we'll have 74. Wow. And with that, I make sure that each school has up-to-date parent and family engagement activities for all of their families. They have events. This is something that comes from the Florida DOE. So they have to be in compliance in order to receive Title I funds. Okay. So part of my job, I would go to each of the 69 schools and make sure that they had their compliance pieces present and available for all their families, for incoming families, as well as make sure that everything that was required from the state, they completed it and submitted it in a timely fashion. Okay. I also would participate in after school and evening parent engagement events on the weekends. I did a lot of read alouds. And just however they needed for me to be visible, to show support for families and advocate for them, I did that in that position.
That's awesome. We're going to come back to you because I already have a question.
Okay. All right.
Waseem, our Ocoee middle school teacher.
Yes, yes.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I've been at Ocoee Middle School now for 15 years now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yes,
And
I
we have a
love
good
it. I
middle
actually
school
loved it.
teacher.
I've thought about going other places, but I love the culture at Akoi Middle School. So
yeah. I actually, as a parent who had a child that go to Coe Middle School, I have to say I had a really good experience. I've never had a situation that was too out of hand. I think the administrators and the teachers were hands on. So it's a great school. So thank you for being here. To ease a little bit of tension, but I kind of, Miss Danny, want to go back to you for a second because I heard you say something and my antenna was like, oh, wait a minute. Title I funding for parents, how does that work?
So the way it works for our public schools in the state, they receive Title I funding for the district. So
Okay.
if you're in a public school, then that entire school and all of those students will receive Title I funding. So that may be tuition, teacher,
Okay.
additional resources. It might be technology, reading recovery, things of that such. But on the private school side, it is for the individual student, not the private school. So it's a little different when you go from public to private, how the funds are allocated.
Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. So let me ask you this. How are your children and your parents dealing with the shut-in? I'm going to call it the shut-in.
Okay.
Since we don't have a choice, we're literally shut in. And I'm sure you're hearing a lot from parents. I think what my first question for the both of you, which is the most grueling for most parents right now. So the kids are home from school. They have all this work that they have to do, but they have to do it on a computer. How does that work for kids who are not in a fortunate position to have a computer? How do these families go on? Do we get them computers? Like, what does that look like? Whoever wants to answer first.
Jalila, do you want to go first or?
yeah, I go first.
Okay.
Well, in Orange County, we're fortunate that most of our students are already one-to-one.
Okay.
They're one-to-one definitely in high school. They're one-to-one in middle school. And I believe in elementary, it's third grade on up, that's one-to-one.
Okay.
I also believe that a lot of schools are offering, if you ask for the younger grades, they will assign a computer, let you check out a computer.
Good.
Need
Good.
one. You have to call the school and you set up a time, and if there's one available, you can check one out. Since everything is going to be online, you have to have a device.
Well, that's awesome. I think that's a big thing. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Spectrum went ahead and also opened Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
correctly?
they did.
Okay. So the kids can actually get on, they have the system, they have the Wi-Fi. Now, what if there's a child or a family that doesn't have that? Can they call their school now to get that? Make a request? Like, what would that look like?
I believe so. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe that the school will. Well, I know for the younger grades, they sometimes offer a packet.
Okay.
You can pick up a packet, or a packet could be mailed to you if you do not have any type of device at all. But I believe if you call the school, get in contact with the principal or the assistant principal and let them know your situation, they will let you check out a computer.
Okay, that's great. Well, I like that they have the option of computer a packet too.
Right.
That will probably help a lot of parents that they're probably not even aware of. Because I think if I'm a parent that doesn't know the system at all, maybe a packet would work better for me because I have something viable in front of me to try to navigate.
But that's only for the younger grades. It's not for the upper level.
So that would be what?
It's kindergarten, first and second, probably.
Okay, so first, second, and kindergarten. Okay, got it.
And I was going to say for here in Pinellas, we launched our digital learning on last. It would have been like around last Tuesday or Wednesday because we just came off of spring break 2 weeks ago. So we have actually been distributing laptops between 10 to 20,000 in the last the last week. And so we encourage our families to come out last Tuesday through Thursday to their school. And they were either a walk-up or they stayed in their car like a drive-through, and they could get a laptop per student in their family. And so once we did that Tuesday through Thursday, we then opened up satellite locations throughout our district where families could come and get laptops. So on Friday, I think I was at one of the locations. I worked the morning and the afternoon session. I think we gave away about 300 computers Friday. Monday came back at my location. I think we gave away, Monday was really a lot of families. So we probably gave away about 300 again. And then we did another distribution on today. So the goal is here in Pinellas is to have checked out 20,000 laptops to our families. We also have tablets or iPads.
Wow.
If that's what they use in the classroom, then that is what we want to carry on for them to use. So for all of our pre-K families who use iPads or tablets, that is what they got to check out to continue that learning. We also encourage our families, like you said, those who may be kind of frustrated or they don't have access currently, that you can use your cell phone to download apps. You can use a tablet that you may have at home or your iPad. So all of the devices that they possibly already have at home will connect to some of the resources that we're offering our families.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Do you know if they're going to have another drive-through or that's it?
So we completed our last satellite site on today, and if we had, it went actually from 2 to 4. So if there are families who are still in need of a device and they have not received one, they can contact the school, and the school then will set up a time for them to come to receive a device. But I think at this point, we've probably hit about 97, 98% of those families who need a device, and they should have one or have access to one.
That is amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing. So
Yes.
basically for both counties, Pinellas and Orange County, if someone is in need, they call the school and they'll kind of go. So parents are not just left out in the wind with no
Correct.
computer, because I did hear something about price gouging from Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call the name, Monopoly, you know, and this is a time that it's not okay to do that because parents
Correct.
are trying to, you know, get things together. So I'm glad that resource is there for them. So now let's move forward. They have the computers. This is the fun part.
Right. Right.
Mom and dad have the computer and they have this 4-year-old looking at them like, okay. So I know that I have seen personally the online virtual school, Mrs. Waseem, for Orange County, because at one point Joshua was on it. I ended up taking him off of it when I wasn't traveling anymore. For me, it looked really confusing. So I can only imagine parents right now trying to navigate that on their own, not know. And then you have parents who've never even sat down and done homework. Let's do that. So this is not only forcing them to parent in a different way, they're being teachers. A lot of the complaints, Mrs. Westing, from what I'm hearing is that parents can't figure out why these kids have so much work. Is it necessary to have all that work? And do they need to do all of it in order to pass to the next grade?
Well, every school is different.
Right.
The main thing I would tell any parent is communication with that teacher.
Right.
Because sometimes teachers don't know your particular circumstance. We think everyone has a high school diploma or they have a degree. So the lessons are written at a level that I can read them, not a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old who's helping the child. So my advice to any parent would, number one, you need to be familiar with the platform that teacher's using. You have got to become familiar with it. 2, if you get confused, reach out to that teacher. Because as a teacher, I want my students to succeed. I want them to learn the material, and they're in a unique situation because teaching is I do, we do, you do. We're missing the we part. And the we part is where I check for understanding. I see if you got it. This is not working. Let's try this. There's no we, it's I give the instruction, maybe I have a few examples, and now boom, here you go. So as a parent, I would say, get in contact with that teacher. If my directions are not clear, Miss Waseem, we don't understand what's going on. Oh, because I've been teaching for so long, I know what I'm looking for. So as I'm doing the directions, maybe I'm not scaling them down to someone who doesn't understand how to do an Excel spreadsheet, who doesn't understand how to do a PowerPoint. So the first thing I would tell any parent is communication is the key. Don't be afraid to be an advocate for your child.
Absolutely.
And be 100% honest. Look, Miss Waseem, I work, I don't get off till 8 o'clock. My 7-year-old is home with their 13-year-old. There is no help. So then, I could make changes for that particular student, because every teacher wants their student to be successful. So communication is number one, I would say.
Absolutely.
And you agree, Mrs. Daniels, of course.
Yes. And I would also say, and I think she hit on that flexibility. So if you are having a hard time understanding, because this has been a quick transition for everyone in the state, specifically for teachers who are not used to working on a digital platform. And the majority of our teachers are not familiar. Here in Pinellas, we actually are running our digital learning through Teams, Microsoft Teams. And our first day running on Monday, the system crashed because it was overloaded from all of the families trying to come on and do the assignment. So what I've noticed from my 4 children's teachers, they are showing flexibility, and they're making sure that they're communicating with the parents as well through email or Dojo. We use Dojo as another form of communication of what's happening, and just, they understand with the flexibility. But also, Governor DeSantis said that each student will be promoted to the next grade unless the parent chooses to hold them back. Okay. So unless that's changed, that still stands. As long as they're making an attempt and they're keeping that line of communication open with their teachers, then they cannot be retained based on not completing all of the assignments or the tests, because like Ms. Waseem said, we're not doing the we do anymore. So there is no, face-to-face connection. Everything is, digital.
I'm glad that you said that, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. I think they feel if my child doesn't do the 500 screen page that they have to do right now, that they're going to fail. But it's also not just a green light to make sure that they're not doing anything at all. That's not what it is. Exactly. But I feel better now knowing that that's in place. And I'm hoping that he does stick to that, because Governor DeSantis things just seem to keep changing as days go on. Yes. But that would make sense. So Mrs. Waseem, for you, I have a question because you have your middle school. So one question for you was, how important, I think we went over that. How important is each lesson to actually complete? Because we don't want parents to just feel like, okay, they don't have to do this. You know what I mean? We can just stop here. How important is it to complete each lesson? Can they move on to another question? Can they move on to another lesson if they're having problems with it? Because like you said, it's no longer that one-on-one, they're on their own, and mom and dad may not understand the answers themselves.
I would say that as a mother, you need to gauge the assignment, because some teachers, how can I say this nicely? It's busy work to me. Yeah, it's busy work. And being a middle school teacher, there's 7 teachers. And if there's 7 teachers in one device and 5 kids, then you have to figure out what's more important. Right. As a computer teacher, not saying my class is not important, but if you're struggling in reading and you're struggling in math and you send me an email, Miss Waseem, I'm behind in your assignment because I had to do my ready and do all this math, I'm flexible. Good. So I would tell parents that this is the first week and this is a learning curve for everybody. Yes. Correct. We have never done this before. So as a parent, you are going to have to step outside your box for a lot of parents and figure out what's the most important out of all of these assignments.
Right.
And if you cannot complete an assignment, you need to let that teacher know. Like I keep going back to communication. Let that teacher know, Miss Waseem, I cannot finish your assignment because of X, Y, and Z. Can I turn it in later? 99% would be like, sure. So
Absolutely.
as a parent, you're going to have to gauge. I mean, sometimes teachers give busy work. That's just being real. It's busy work. But at the same time, teachers have to be accountable for getting paid. I'm still getting paid. So I have to give you an assignment. I have to hold you accountable too.
Right.
So I have my cousin, she teaches in Georgia, and she said, listen, that first week it was chaotic. We're on week 3 and it's flowing. So tell parents to be patient. Be patient. It's a learning curve for everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead, Mr. Daniels, you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, what she said is absolutely correct. And, right now, because we're just rolling this out, it is very stressful in some aspects and hectic, because with systems crashing and parents getting used to this whole digital learning opportunity, I'll call it opportunity, and some of them cannot be at home. And so you may have older siblings which are in charge of the younger siblings. But as we continue with this, at least through May 1st, it's going to get easier week by week, I believe.
That's awesome. So once a parent gets the plan itself, they have access to the teacher, right? Through email. So all they'd have to do, send an email to that teacher, let them know this is my situation. I am not able to do this lesson. I am not complete. So communication is key. So that's good. I think you've answered half of this list of questions, because honestly, you did it in all that.
Good.
And I would tell a parent, do not feel bad if you don't get something. Because as a parent, I'm a parent too. And I want to help your children be successful. Like my son came to me yesterday, Mommy, can you help me with your Spanish? Oh yeah, hola, let's go, let's do this. He gave me his work and I did not understand it. And then I said, well, how is this usually modeled for you? He said, usually we do it in the class. The teacher goes over the first 2 and then I get it. And it's been 30 years since I took Spanish. I don't get it. But I'm in a fortunate, situation where I can network and call the Spanish teacher and get some help. And every parent does not have that. But a parent doesn't need to feel bad because they don't get it. Because we've been so removed from that 3rd grade geometry or, reading or whatever. So as a parent, do not feel bad. You're doing the best that you can in a weird situation.
Correct.
That's awesome.
I totally agree. As a matter of fact, before I came onto the Zoom, because we weren't able to upload my daughter's work that's supposed to be due, I had to print it out. And then she's asking me about these mathematics, shapes and stuff. And I was like, whoa. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to look at what we have before us. And I want you to really think about what you've been practicing and learning in class. And let's think about it. And then that can help you with it. But let's not get stressed at 3:30 and school's out when we can hit this tomorrow. And just, I'm like you, Jalila, I've been out of school. I haven't looked at these math problems in a long time. And then I have my oldest who's taking AP classes. I have one in middle school who's in the middle of something for French, don't speak any French. A 5th grader and a 3rd grader. So we're trying to scaffold all these different learning paths to make sure that we're, doing the best that we can in this situation.
Right. That's awesome. That's good. Like I said, I think you guys nailed it as far as they wanted to know. Computers, we hit the computers. That's good. If you don't have a computer, reach out to your school, and they have the teacher support, so you don't have to feel so stressed.
Right.
Now, here's another question. I don't know if this is a question. It was more of a conversation that I had with a parent. And my advice, and this is just my little advice, I don't have small children at home, but I would have, if it were me, they were asking, well, when is the best time to do the work? Is it nighttime? Is it morning? Is it when they feel like it? My advice was to try to keep the same time schedule. Am I correct with that? Wake them up, give them breakfast, and then put them somewhere. That's good? How would you go about getting them at home to be on some kind of schedule so that their minds and they're just ready to be engaged in work?
I think that families need to look at what their schedule is. So if you're going to be home during the day, whether you're working from home or you're right now, not working, creating a schedule that works for you. I think in the morning, getting started with breakfast or some type of, smoothing yourself into your schedule. But I think it's really important to have a schedule in place. But within that schedule, make sure that you have breaks embedded into there, because the younger they are, the more jittery that they are, and they need to kind of be able to get up and move. So for us personally, we start off with breakfast, and then we kind of check in with the teacher, say our good morning, see what the assignment is, and then we kind of work from there. And then my fifth and third grader, they like to kind of play and stuff. So we'll take a 15-minute break and they can kind of play, or we throw a couple chores in there. They get back to work. We do lunch, do another break where they can kind of get loose a little bit. I also make sure, like we mentioned, getting outside and getting that physical activity every single day to make sure that, they're not going stir crazy. And then we try to finish up 3:30 every day. So school for us is basically 8:30 to about 3 o'clock. And whatever we don't get accomplished in that time, we just roll it over into the next day.
That's awesome. So, Mrs. Waseem, do you kind of keep the same schedule also? Do you think they should?
Well, my son's in high school, so we're not keeping that same schedule. No. He would leave the house at 6:17. No, we're not keeping that same schedule. Whenever he wakes up, he has to give me 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
So I'm a little more flexible. He's in the 9th grade. So whenever he wakes up, I fix him breakfast. He brushes his teeth. I still have to remind him to brush his teeth in the 9th grade.
Listen,
that's another story. And he has to give me 3 to 4 hours every single day. Okay. At least 3 to 4 hours every single day. Okay. And everyone has a peak time. He's not really a morning person. So he kind of peaks in the afternoon. So, just like, you were saying, I give him a little break. He, goes outside, he plays basketball by himself, comes back, he's refreshed, and then we get right back on it. So you have to know your child. Some children that sit down and hunker down, and some kids get a little break in between. So it depends on the child, but I do think that a schedule is very important.
It is.
And on the flip side, we're very blessed to be home with our children.
Yeah.
There's parents who they're, essential workers and they're gone most of the day.
That's hard. So I think you answered the next question. Can they go to school on Saturday? But you know what I mean? It's like you said, you got to know your child. You got to know your situation. Maybe Saturday might work for mom and dad if they're not able to be there during the week. So I guess that's a viable question. I know I see a lot going on my phone, and I know that there's a lot of questions coming in, and we're going to answer all the questions. Well, what you guys can. But I think it's good. Do you want to add anything, Mrs. Daniels, as far as tips that they can do right now and what you're hearing in Pinellas County as a problem?
I would the flexibility is going to be the biggest thing. And even when we're having issues with our online resources that the district is providing, being able to tap into other things for them to do, so they're not just sitting there and, getting themselves in trouble, as I call it, at home with the principal / assistant principal / cafeteria and custodian, the parent. So I have actually I printed it out, but I have like a worksheet I found online, and it just gives different online resources that they can go on, especially for your elementary, your primary kids. They can go on, do virtual field trips. They can go on and they can do cool math and do different things that's going to still be learning, but it's not going to just per se be the curriculum that's coming from the district. But it gives them an opportunity to still learn, but they're having fun while learning, while that, site may not be uploading or they can't download that homework assignment. But I think flexibility is the key. This morning, I went to distribute laptops. I came back home. My second oldest, who's in 8th grade, was practicing baseball outside this morning.
So
good. He got his physical activity by playing baseball. And then my youngest started in third grade. She was doing yoga in the living room. So she took a break. So, just being able to, take that break, kind of decompress, even if it's in the middle of learning. But I think not overdoing it. I think what you said, Jalila, is very important. 3 to 4 hours, that's all you really need. We think about school during the school day, but they're not getting 6.5, 7 hours of learning during the school day. You have music, you have art, you have lunch, you have that in between time if they have recess. So if you're getting 3 to 4 hours, you're really being successful during this time. I think you'll be successful by getting that in.
That's good. So you still need to do the activities outside. What is the name of what is the website URL for?
I just clicked in free learning websites for kids. I just Googled it. And this is something that I put out to all of our Title I schools here in Pinellas as a resource to put on their website, their school website, as well as to provide in the front office for families as they're transitioning into the district. And it just gives a whole bunch of different websites that they can go on to that are free. That's most importantly, and that are going to really engage the students, but in a fun way.
So you guys are still getting paid now. So are you technically still, if a parent reaches out to you, you do have to contact them back? So you just can't okay, I'm not just going to answer that right now?
During your work hours, yes.
During work hours, of course.
I was going to say, we had to tell our assistant principal or principal our work hours, what hours we're available, and send a letter out to each one of our parents, letting them know we're available.
Okay. So they have that available. They know that. Okay. So I'm just going to go through a few of them as we're talking. One parent wants to know okay, here we go. Charmaine is asking, for those students who are IEP are not reading on their level, time structuring. I guess she needs help with time structuring.
If they are not reading on level, you can always have books read to you. So I know through Pinellas, we have, it's the PLP, their personal learning plan or platform. And we have Clever. You can go in, choose books, and they'll read the book to you. So if they don't have access to something like that, I know there are a lot of different websites, probably even through their public library, where they can go on and have books read to the student. Okay. Also, again, reaching out to their teacher to see what do they do when they're face-to-face in the classroom, and what can be, transitioning to the digital learning at home, what they could do to assist.
Okay. So that was Charmaine. We're going to go down. Shakivia, I hope I am saying your name right. You're beautiful. Wants to know, I just don't know how to check what my child has or had done. So people are asking, how do they get, I guess, onto their system to check to make sure that they're actually doing their work? How does that work, Mrs. Waseem, for Orange County?
Well, Orange County uses the Canvas as our platform. And I also have that problem with my child as being a teacher. Okay. What the parent is going to have to do is go to the submit button.
Okay.
And you can see what the child actually downloaded, or uploaded. And then you can download it and open it up and check it that way. Okay. So the parent needs to go to Canvas, go to that particular class, that particular teacher, go to modules. For modules, there should be a list of assignments, and they have dates. So if it's a date from September, that's old. So you're going to go to the most current date, you click on the assignment, and usually that's what the instructions are. And you can read about the assignment, what the criteria is, what the rubric is, and then there's a submit button. Okay. And your child needs to show you what they submitted and upload it to the teacher.
Okay. Is it the same for you, Mrs. Daniels?
For us, we have all of the assignments right now on our Microsoft Teams. And even though we're having a hard time with the students being able to get on and complete their assignments through that, you can download the assignment onto your device. And then from there, you can either complete it or you can print it out, complete it, take a picture, and then upload it. So the parent should be able to see what the assignment is, either, like she said, through an upload or a download, and then can check the work to make sure, and then to see if it has been submitted by that due date.
Okay, so there is a check and balance system, because I'm sure a lot of kids are just saying, "I did it."
Yes, it should be.
And sometimes students have even uploaded the wrong assignment to me, or a blank assignment to me. And if they're not doing it on purpose, they just
right.
Blank assignment is not on purpose.
Yes. Yes.
See, you have I think you're dealing with a different crowd, Mrs. Waseem.
They're trying to finesse me, as they say.
Yeah, most definitely. It's funny because this is how important we know teachers are. Like, we knew you guys were important before, but now it's a whole new level of appreciation for our teachers, because I mean, people are really stumped. They're really lost. And I think you guys offered so much good advice today, because I'm telling you, literally, it was 2 pages of questions, and we literally went down and answered without me having to ask the questions. So that's the amount of information that the both of you actually put out today. That's awesome. A lot.
Good.
I know that we have another 30-day lockdown, right? Extended on top of everything that we're already. And I have a friend that's in Virginia. I think Virginia just announced that theirs is until June.
Oh.
So, yeah. I know we can't handle for Virginia, because their school system is different the way that they do. But it doesn't take away from the simple fact and the truth that remains for all schools is they need to reach out to their teacher.
Yes.
What does a parent do if they're consistently reaching out and they're not getting a response from that teacher? Is there someone higher that they can reach out to?
Absolutely. I would then go to the administrator and initiate communication with them.
And how would they get that information? Through the school's website?
It can be through the school's website. Typically here in Pinellas, each of the principals of our schools from K through 12 do weekly call outs or emails. We call them like robocalls. And the information then goes into an email. So from there, they're able to either reply through the email or to go on the website and get that information.
Okay. It's the same for you, Mrs. Waseem? They would just call.
Right. They go to the school website, and I hate to,
Look, teacher. We need truth right now. Okay.
I mean, because we are mandated to respond in 48 hours. And I was thinking at this time.
Why did you say that again?
Well, during typical school year, we're mandated to respond to a parent email in 48 hours. But I would think now, with the computer being right here and us not having to walk around,
correct,
it would be
no
easy.
Excuse. That's right. That's right.
You two say it's no excuse. However, I think teachers, I'm hearing some horror stories, but I think some people are having some difficulties even with reaching teachers here in Orange County. Unfortunately. And that doesn't speak for everyone, but I think it's leaving parents really, really, really frustrated.
Yes.
Especially if they're being proactive, as we're saying now, to actually call or try to get help, and then they're reaching out for help and it's nothing. You don't want them to give up, right?
Right.
So they would go on their school's website. I know each school has a list of the administrator and other teachers. I'm going to ask a very elementary question. Okay. So if I'm a 6th grade parent and I know communication with my child's teacher, I've never been to a PTA. I've never been to the school. I cannot tell you what the front teacher lady receptionist looks like. I don't know. How do they go on and know who your child's administrator is? Because I know in for instance, with my son's high school, they were assigned at Olympia High School, right? There's different administrators for different children. You couldn't just reach out to anyone. Is there a way for them to find that information now if they've never done it before?
Yes, right on the website. And actually, I know for our Title I schools, well, all of our schools, excuse me, here in Pinellas, they have on the school's website, they have all of the staff listed, and they typically have a principal message or assistant principal message, and they always provide their email and their phone number. And currently, everyone here in Pinellas that works in the district has had to forward their phones to their personal line or home line. So the calls are coming directly to their personal line or their home line, whatever, for people to reach out to them.
Oh, okay. Is it the same for Orange County, Mrs.?
No, ma'am.
Well, that might be because I'm on the district level. So on the district level, all of us have to have our phones forwarded to our personal line.
You probably have a lot of parents that's like, I'm moving to Pinellas County. Mrs. Waseem said, no, ma'am.
Right.
I saw the head shaking and she was like, no.
Right.
How does that work, Mrs. Waseem, for Orange County?
Orange, just like she said, you would go to the school's website, Jones High, Coy Middle, and the assistant principal and the principal is listed there. And for Orange County, it's our first name dot last name at ocps.net.
Okay,
so
good.
If you know their first and last name, and it's not a common name. Sometimes if it's a common name, there's a number or something, but it's our first name dot last name at ocps.net.
Okay, good. Another question. What if my child was already failing a subject and now they have to go ahead and do it online? Will they still continue to fail, or can we skip it and keep moving along?
Well, at my school, the guidance counselors sent out an email to all the students who were in danger of failing for the school year.
Okay.
Most of the time to pass, you have to get probably a 90.
Okay.
Realistically speaking, if you have not been successful with the teacher at your disposal for 3-9 weeks, it's going to be extremely challenging
for you. Okay. So basically,
read something and complete it, because that's basically what every child has to do. Read it, figure it out, and then complete it. And as a teacher, I don't know if you understand the concept until you turn something in. There's no check and balances at this point. You just turn it in, and if you haven't gotten the concept, I assign a grade. And I'm the type of teacher, I will, through campus, I will make a little note and saying, you forgot to do this, or make sure you do this and resubmit. Okay. But the missing component is, I don't know until you give it to me.
Okay.
And if you have a parent who don't know, like that Spanish assignment, then you turn something in with your fingers crossed a lot of times, hoping you got it correct.
Mm-hmm. And I heard something really interesting yesterday. It just slipped my mind. The language website. What is the name of it? It just completely slipped my head. Where they can learn a second language.
Rosetta Stone, is it?
Rosetta Stone. Yes,
okay.
I think they're offering 2 free months of learning. You might want to look into that. I believe it is Rosetta Stone, and they're offering 2 free months.
Nice.
So maybe that might help with a student that has a language class. Yeah, they can get it that way. So Monique says Georgia announced yesterday they're out of school for the rest of the year.
They did announce that, yes.
Wow.
Yes, they did.
And so is Virginia. Virginia also.
Well, my husband and I have a bet about school being out for the rest of the year. I'm not going to say what side I'm on, but we have a bet on, are we going to be out for the rest of the school year?
I think we are.
You think so?
I think so. Because
that's what he says too. He thinks we're going to be out for the rest of the year, and I so miss my students. I just want to hug them. Yeah. I miss them so much. It's just not the same. It's
You
just
don't want to hug right now. No, not here. I think so. I think so. I don't think if you listen to the news, which I try to turn off because it's just
Right.
it's too much. It's
It's
too
a
much.
lot.
The
It's a lot.
information changes so much. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. It's this and it's that. Forget it. You know. But I think what they're saying for us here in Orlando, Florida, on a whole, we haven't seen that peak yet, and that peak would be within the next 2 weeks of more cases coming out, because every day we hear about it going up. The numbers are going up. The numbers are going up. I don't see how they're going to return to school in April. I don't know. I know for my son, they're done as far as I can see. When FIU decided that that was it, we literally only had about 4 days to go get all my son's things and bring them home. They're, even as a college student who's never taken online classes, also, he's had to navigate. So if a college student has to navigate, can you imagine what the younger ones have to do?
Right.
Can you believe we have hit an hour already?
Wow. Already.
Already. It goes by.
Do this again.
It does. It really does. Yes.
It goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. Is there any questions that you guys have on your social media pages that you want to address? You can look at your phones if you do. And you can go ahead and do that. If not, I think we're going to close it out.
Yeah.
I just want to close by telling parents, just be patient. Everything's going to iron itself out eventually,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
It is.
I agree. I think the biggest thing from this and the biggest takeaway is breathe, calm down. Your student is not going to get kicked out of school if they miss something or they get it wrong. Just relax.
Right.
Daniels?
I would just say, take this opportunity to do some things that you haven't really had an opportunity to do. So it may be learning how to cook or to bake, reorganizing, having them, reorganize the Tupperware, or, like finding the tops, to those things, cleaning, doing some deep cleaning and trying to see how you can incorporate that into some learning things like that. Arts and crafts is really good right now. Reading daily. If you don't do anything else, make sure that you're reading either out loud or being read to. Outstanding projects that they had coming off of spring break that they haven't completed. This is a great time to get those projects done. Writing, because writing and reading go hand in hand, which would be really good as well. But most importantly, don't stress something. Have fun, because this is new for everybody. And we just have to just take it day by day with a smile, and it'll get better. It will get better. It will.
Yeah, we'll get through this. I think we're a pretty strong community.
Yes.
And as long as parents know that they have support from the teachers, from the school, from the administrators, that's probably the most important thing right now. So yes, I think on a whole, just calm down.
Yes.
It's okay. Little essay is gonna be fine.
That's right.
Everybody's gonna be okay in the end. Don't stress it. I'm sure maybe New York, it's different. Their systems are different. Their expectations may be very different from Florida right now. But if Governor DeSantis put it out there and said no child held back because of this, that doesn't mean not do the work. It means breathe a little bit.
Correct.
But at least you have some kind of support in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I think we're good. I
want to thank you, Candace, for the invitation and thinking about me.
Yes.
Awesome. A great idea.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know what? We can come back on, and we can probably do fun things that parents can actually do for them. Because if you just, like you just said, Tupperware, I would have never thought of that. I would have never thought of that.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. And it's easy to incorporate that in learning. Find the tops, put
That's
it
right.
So we can come up with different ways to help parents just keep them and keep them off the TV, because right now that's the last place that they need to be. I had really quick, we did another broadcast yesterday, and it was a mental health therapist, and she was saying, you know, you can give the kid, you can let them know what's going on, because they have to know what's going on so that they can learn to build up a resistance and learn to be stronger. You can't hide everything from them, but you also can't talk about everything around them either.
Mhm.
You know, when
Mhm.
mom and dad start arguing about who should be in the White House and what we could
Correct.
have done and should have done and who's getting it, they don't need to be a part of those
Yes,
conversations, right? Because kids
absolutely.
carry it very differently.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, this was fun. You
This
guys
was.
are amazing.
This was
Teachers,
very
thank
nice.
you. I think I can say thank you personally from all of Florida.
Okay.
You guys are amazing. We can't do it without you. So this has been great. We'll be back on again, and we'll make sure to stay in touch.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
All
right.
right. Thank
Have a good
you.
day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, I'm gonna keep smiling until I figure out how to end it. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm the only one that can end. Okay, bye guys. Thank you for joining. Okay, mine doesn't want to end.